Alright, hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Mega Man 10 Any Percent Tournament being hosted here on SpeedGaming. Today we have a bonus round 1 match, a winner go home match. Today between 14 MrCab55 and the 9-speed Slurpeeninja. So be a very entertaining match. Both players trying to stay alive in this tournament. Again, the winner will move on in the tournament, and will be locked out. So it's a very good match. We've already got MrCab asking for a Slurpee 35 and a Cabby 36, and saying he'd take that, referencing their personal best. So MrCab actually comes in with a PB of 37.55, and Slurpeeninja has a PB of 35.41. So while that is a somewhat large time gap between the two runners, and but anything can and will happen in a race setting. We've already seen it happen throughout this tournament where one runner will make one or two mistakes, and all of a sudden you're really behind the 8 ball here, and you really have to make precise moves and precise play. And if your time may be perhaps a little slower, but you're consistent, you can offset some of that and really kind of force the runner who's made a mistake to really press the attack a bit here. So we lead off with Pump Man, which will be a good opening stage for the runners to kind of get their feet wet, so to speak. A lot of quick movements going to be required by our runners here. Some tight platforming. So MrCab is avoiding his namesake, and so is Slurpeeninja. We have a pretty synced race here in the opening minute, which is to be expected. So again, Alright, so we had a unfortunate death there by Ninja, and that's so Ninja is already behind here as MrCab moves on to take on Pump Man. So yeah, so Mega Man 10, loves to fight, and so we have Pump Man, who the boss fight is, if you're a Mega Man fan, somewhat reminiscent of Starman from Mega Man 5, with that, that shield protecting him. So try and get through the barrier, but you're having a little trouble getting through it, so actually burn that E-Tank you collected earlier in the stage. That'll give Ninja a chance to catch up a little bit. So Ninja cuts through the barrier, and Cab is moving on now to excuse me, sorry, moving on to Solar Man. one added feature for those not familiar with Mega Man 10 compared to other Mega Mans is the ability to, you know, cycle through weapons without having to, stop and go to the menu screen, which is kind of a nice little modern feature that the X games had, but really hadn't been introduced to the regular series until to the later iterations in the 21st century. It's a small feature, but it does open things up potentially for the runner, and it can really kind of cut loose in some ways like they couldn't before. But in many other respects, this is very much a classic retro-esque game. And actually, chat, you are correct about Mega Man 7, and everyone forgets Mega Man 7 spots. I think people just forget Mega Man 7 and 8, kind of as a general rule. They are kind of the forgotten titles, I suppose. Not to say they're bad games, they're just not as, I guess, remembered. And Mega Man 9 was very much a throwback to Mega Man 2, which was by design. MrCab, meanwhile, having a very close call there with Solar Man. Burned up all of his water shield ammo, but had just enough to get rid of him. And but you're starting to see that gap starting to narrow here between MrCab and Slurpeeninja. Slurpee had a very quick Solar Man fight. Audio back up. So, we're on the Chill Man stage. Watching Cab do this stage during practices. And, it's a nice bit of platforming precision here. They're all kind of precise in their platforming, but this one, because of its ice physics, can be doubly challenging if you're not used to it. And the other race I did comps for Palpy Blade and Great John, we saw this level being quite decisive in the outcome because of the ice physics. So, MrCab had no trouble. Slurpee not far behind. He's been doing a good job closing the gap here. Ooh, and MrCab getting frozen here, but manages to finish him off. So, but he's finishing and Slurpee is starting. And, kid got caught twice, but Slurpeeninja also finishes the job, so it's 3 down. We've got a screen ended for MrCab at 7:59. We'll see where Ninja is at in a second. Should be about 15 seconds or so behind. Yep, 8. So 15-second difference between the runners through 3 Robot Masters. We head on to Nitro Man, which has a couple of interesting ideas. Kind of playing with the auto scroller concept in a few respects, with the trucks they're going to have to be traversing. MrCab just, freezing those trucks in place. Keep them from doing anything. Ninja going to do the same. Ninja taking a hit there. Now MrCab's going to just ride the truck all the way to the finish line here. Next screen transition, then put the trucks on ice here again. Third cycle. Ninja giving himself enough room here to make the jump safely. Now MrCab's going to ride the very front of the truck so he doesn't get hit by the spikes. Just put it on ice there to finish it off. Excuse me. All right, so we're on to our fourth fight now against Nitro Man. Try and get him to basically run over the ice spikes and as quickly as possible. MrCab had a decent fight there. Got to get some good RNG. Slurpeeninja having a slow start. Could not get to the. He's not getting the ideal pattern there, and so his fight took a little longer than MrCab. So MrCab probably got a couple seconds back there. He faded out at 10:33. Ninja looks like it's going to be about 17 seconds. So MrCab holding serve here at the halfway point of this race, of the Robot Master section of the race. So because of the way this route works, they go to Commando Man right at the moment when they get Rush Jet, because you get Rush Jet after 4 Robot Masters, regardless of which order you do them in. And it's fortuitous because Rush Jet is pretty handy here in this stage, because it can help you get around some of these sandstorms pretty easily, without really having to rely too much on platforming. Having a little trouble with the first sandstorm. Got a little caught up in one of the jumps, but still managed to get through cleanly. So yeah, you see, I'm just going to turn on the Rush Jet here and just get around this sandstorm without really having to worry about what he has to do. And once again, just gonna use Rush Jet and just take this all the way to the end of the section. And here we are, already at the finish. It's a pretty short stage overall. And Rush Jet, really take some of the pressure off. So if you're right behind. All right, so on to Commando Man, and easy fight for MrCab. Even easier fight for Slurpeeninja. Basically, it's a 1-2 combo of wheels, and that did it. So good fight for both players. MrCab again with a slight lead here. Looks like about 12 seconds, so Slurpee gaining some time, but MrCab has held the lead, going all the way back to Pump Man after that unfortunate death for Ninja. Can he hold the line? We head to our 6th Robot Master, Blade Man. Alright. A little bit of showmanship there by Mr. Cab, celebrating with Rush Coil, and Ninja trying to do the same, but couldn't quite get the combo to work, so again, I'm just going to move on. And Rush Jet getting plenty of play here in Blade Man stage. That route in mind works out pretty well. But so Mr. Cabin at 1506. Ninja is riding it straight through. Should be at the end here any second now, and yeah, he's getting a little closer every time. But and a good fight from Mr. Cab. Slurpeeninja try and use Commando Man's ability to basically hit, carom shots. Oh, we just missed one, and but gets him on gets a nice 1-2 finish there. So we got a good race going on here, folks. For this, well, for me, it's an early Saturday morning, so I can't speak to everyone else. But for a matinee in the U.S., this is a pretty good one so far. Both players putting on a good show here. We head to our 7th Robot Master, Strike Man, which is honestly one of the odder bosses in the series, and this game already has some pretty odd ones, and you still have Sheep Man to get through after all. Okay. Mr. Cabot looks like he had a little trouble there. The soccer with the sort of the mini boss there, and Slurpee had no trouble at all. Also, a slight difference in tactics. Slurpee used Blade Man, whereas Mr. Cab opted for Chill Man's ability to get through some of these areas. Having a little trouble here, and finally gets through, but gap is definitely getting narrower. Slurpee's having a very good Strike Man stage. Less than a screen transition behind now. Both players taking some damage here. Getting through this section, and yeah, it's down to just a couple of seconds now. And a near synced finish. So both runners now pretty much dead even with one robot to go. And Mr. Cab with a half a second lead, if that. A half second to a second. So yeah, so Slurpee has bounced back from that early death and is now in good shape here. We head to our final robot master, Sheep Man. The platforming for some of this stuff is kind of like a puzzle in some respects because of the blocks and how they you touch them and they kind of fade away. It's an interesting concept from a game design standpoint, and really kind of can make you think a little bit in the moment. Our runners, of course, are well attuned to this and are not going to be too concerned, but they will still try to be as precise as possible here. And we've got a sync going into the mini boss, and Slurpee is already done. MrCab having a little trouble here. Finally finishes the job. Ninja has officially taken the lead here on MrCab, and is moving at a pretty. Going to try to widen that lead a little bit here on his opponent. Again, this is a winner-go-home match. This is a double elimination tournament, so we'll see if nerves have any effect here. Though both of our runners here today are hardened veterans of the Mega Man race community, so I don't expect them to have too much trouble holding it together. But it does happen. It happens to the best of us. Start to get a little too far ahead in your thinking. Things can happen. So never take it for granted. All right, so Sheep Man underway now for Slurpeeninja. Very quick fight for Ninja. Got a nice pattern and just rammed it through. So he's out. Finishes at 20:58. Alright, and MrCab about 21:12. So Ninja has taken the lead here, going into the Wily stage. There's a lot of game left to be played, though. These stages are hardly a gimme as far as difficulty goes. And while we kind of get ready for the Wily stages, do give our runners a follow. Okay, well, unfortunately, the command does not work today, but if you haven't already, but do show your support for MrCab55 and Slurpeeninja. Great race they're giving us today on this Saturday. Get ready for the Wily stages. Thank you, Scoopula, for getting that up and running. So yes, again, do give our runners a follow, and if you were so inclined, do give me, Pro8007, a follow as well. Let's start with our runners. So Wily 1 is kind of fun because you get to face a robot master from the first 9 games, and in sort of not quite the classic mode, but they do have their abilities. You saw Elect Man, Woodman, and Gemini Man from the first 3 games there on MrCab's screen. So that's a really neat idea, and it's a nice bit of it's a nice callback, and of course having 9 games to work with makes this a pretty cool idea. So, see, Ninja taking on 3 more, 4, 5, and 6. No problems. so close to the end here, Wily won. What Wily room would not be complete without a wall of spikes? Slurpee having to skip that extra life there, was sitting on and got wedged in the floor there. Even in 2010, they still allowed for those kinds of little funny hiccups to happen. By that point, I don't think they're really so much hiccups as endearing style points. Alright. Final refight here in Wily 1. Finishes off Tornado Man's icon, and that is it for Wily 1 for Slurpeeninja. He fades out at 25-18, so we'll see. MrCab's not far behind. Sheepman to take down Tornado Man, and having a little trouble here. Oh, another close victory for MrCab. He's had a couple of those today. Excuse me. So, but holding the line here. Yeah, it looks like about a 30-35 second difference now between our runners. The piston room here in Wily 2 again. Runners got to be very careful here. This was crucial in the race I saw last week between Great John and Palpy played. This is where Great John was able to pull off the upset because he had a clean Wily 2 and his opponent did not. So. For Slurpeeninja, lots of there's an extra life for Slurpeeninja, but it's got to be careful here. Play your game and just do what you know how to do. It's no point in getting yourself twisted around here. Chat talking about all the little optimizations being done that have been found since they've been playing and how people are discovering. That's kind of the fun of this, Certainly, there's always something new to learn, and watching people play it and do kind of their own little things, little ideas and tricks and what have you. That's a very cool idea. And, you just learn something by watching other people do it. MrCab kind of taking his time here with the pistons, does not want to get crushed. Or, fall victim to the spikes. Ninja had no trouble with Wily 2. So he is out at 28:04. Right now with the Wily 254 MrCab getting a little bodied here, but manages to get through. We got Ninja doing underway in Wily 3, kind of an auto scroller stage, if you will. And MrCab is out at 28:41, so a 37-second difference between our runners. By no means a done deal for Slurpeeninja. Still got a few stages to go here, and but his platforming, particularly in Wily 2, you can start to see kind of a difference. Ninja going for some pretty tight bits of movement, and MrCab playing a little safer, a little more cautious overall. And those seconds are starting to add up here and widen that gap. But you know, the refights still await, and you know, the Wily 4 fight can be pretty tricky. So we'll be trying to optimize as much as they can in this final section. So again, you said that's kind of what MrCab was doing. Like Slurpee just went straight to Rush Jet, and MrCab kind of just took an extra couple seconds to clear the path so he could get across safely. And now he's actually using his M-Tank to make sure he has enough for what he needs here. I don't believe Slurpee's done that yet. He used his M-Tank, so see if he may well use it, I think, in Wily 4, but we're on the Wily 3 fight, which is kind of a callback to the Wily 2 fight from Mega Man 2. These blocks kind of coming up, preordained patterns, so but nice carom shots by Ninja to finish the job. So very good fight from Slurpeeninja, and he will fade out at 31:06. Alright, so Wily 4 underway here. A quick menu there by Ninja to get a refill on what he wanted. You see MrCab also doing kind of these carom shots here. And finishes him off. Alright, so we're underway here in the refights from Ninja. He's down. Thank you, Chad, for clarifying on the M-Tanks question. Appreciate it. I must have missed that. 32:05 for MrCab. So almost a full minute back now, but we'll see if you know, weird things do happen in races. So by no means a done deal. It's a Sheep Man. Being a little more difficult for Ninja the second time around, but has no trouble finishing him off. MrCab taking on Blade Man. Slurpee taking on Solar Man. Very quick fight there. Nice fight by MrCab against Blade Man. So because of the menuing, we do tend to see runners kind of go in their own order on these, I think. And with the refights, ooh, Ninja having a little trouble there with Blade Man. Just slipped past one shot, but finishes him off. Slurpee on the Chill Man. MrCab taking on Sheep Man. Very quick fight for MrCab. Ninja takes down Chill Man. Nitro Man for Ninja. Commando Man for MrCab. Yeah, very good fight from Ninja. He had a little trouble in the first fight, but finishes him off. And got the Wily 4 fight for Ninja. Kind of just burning through all of his ammo here, trying to take out phase 1. All right. Trying to get a good cycle here on the Wily phase 2. Not getting a lot of help though, but finally finishes him off. So we're on into the grand finale for Slurpeeninja. Fades out at 34:46. We got the endless ascension for Ninja. Giving MrCab a little bit of trouble there. Ninja underway here in Wily 5. MrCab making sure he can get, he got caught there. Got a good pattern there, and nice nice shot there to finish off Wily 4. Very nice, very good play there by MrCab. Just kind of taking his time with that. All right, so we're into the final fight now with yeah, hit the wrong Wily off the bat there, but good second pattern, good second phase, and just gotta be careful with getting I think the patterns you would like here. Almost just about finished here. Just wait this out, and got it, and he got him. So get out the GGs for Slurpeeninja. Will be moving on with this tournament with an official race time of 36:38. So a very good run by Slurpeeninja, who overcame a minor hiccup early on in Pump Man stage, but was otherwise very clean the rest of the race and secures the victory. So MrCab, his PB is 37:55. Doesn't seem to get it today, but he's had a very good race all the same. Let's see if he can get the RNG on his side. Close out this tournament with a PB. Oof. Ooh, he's missing a couple of shots here. Might be pressing a little bit. Yeah, it's just going to fall just a little short on the PB, but still a terrific finish for MrCab, who finishes with an official race time of 38:04. GG's to both runners. Got MrCab. All right, MrCab in the race room. Welcome him. also the tournament administrator for the Mega Man 10 tournament. And GG, Mr. Cab.
Yeah, thanks. It was a run, and yeah, tournament administrator. I just know how challenge works. Don't worry about me.
Well, hey, somebody's got to do it, right? But so yeah, close to your PB. Just a couple little things here and there.
It was a lot of early stuff, and there's this ridiculous. I don't know how big the actual goal split was, but I saved 15 seconds in Wily 4 in the refights, which is what? Where did that time come from? But
you had a couple of really quick fights overall. I noticed your first fights, a couple of them were a little halting in spots, and Wily in the refights, you're just banging them out really quick.
Just a lot of mistakes early on. Pumpman, like the second half of that stage was a disaster. I think it was for both of us. I didn't see what happened to Slurpee, but I saw I was in the lead until Strike Man stage and was very confused. But then like Solar I had to finish with Buster. Blade Man wouldn't go into my commando bomb. It was a giant mess the whole first half.
Yeah, there was a death for Slurpeeninja. So yeah, you held about a double-digit second lead all the way, until about Strike Man. Then he finally inched ahead, but and then he was just able to pull away because in the Wily stage, he was just really cruising through a lot of that platforming.
Yeah, just Octobulb and the goalies are the main reason I think I don't have a lower 37, if not a 36. Like those 4 combined fights.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just I knew in the Wily stages, like there were a couple of spots in Wily 2 especially, I probably could have pushed a little harder, but at the same time, it's like I know Slurpee's overall the better runner anyway. I know he's obviously has a 36 in my P, he's a high 37. And I knew I just basically had to hang back, play my game, and see what happened if I was going to get a win, as it were. But yeah, Slurpee totally deserves to move on. GG to Slurpee.
Yeah, definitely GG Slurpeeninja. Yeah, that's that second half. Yeah, he really, the platforming, like I said in particular, is where he really put on a clinic in the Wily stages and really just pulled away in a big way there. So, I know for you, kind of going into well, let's have some fun with this. Are you kind of energized by your play? Do you think you could really just make a run at it here and knock your PB down a bit?
I mean, yeah. It's kind of the same as it was a week ago when I had this conversation with whoever was commentating that race. Yeah. It's more a function of life and free time when it comes to do I want to get a lower 37? Like the skill, I think everybody is seeing it's there. It just needs to happen, and it's a question of do I want to do nothing but play Mega Man 10 all day, or do I want to... I actually started... I finally got ZXA back out, and I still haven't beaten that game since it came out. Like, I beat it once on the original DS when it was new. Yeah. So now let's do that again, then look at what those speed strats look like, and then then we go back to Triple M country and see, okay, what do I want to do with this?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like that. It's also like the mental. It's like the mental side. Like, can you just get it all together in your head and just like, okay, it's like I'm just gonna, barrel through this. But but yeah, it's like sometimes you just don't have it. It's like, oh, this is much more interesting.
Oh, I mean, it's a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit of just having fun, right? I don't think I'm getting a 34 anytime soon, but it's just a lot of fun to have the skill to come in here and get respectable times in all these games. It's just fun. That's what we're here to do, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things we just gotta, the fun, definitely. Like that's what's key here. So, yeah. So, waiting for Slurpeeninja to join us.
I think he just caught us in chat saying, like, oh, yeah. GG, Slurpee.
Yes, yes, GG's.
That was, I'm just surprised how consistent I was from, like, Blade to, like, Wily 3.
Well,
Hello.
Yeah, like that early death notwithstanding, very solid run throughout. Yeah, yeah. The second
Thanks.
half of your run was very, very good.
Thanks. Mr. Cab, you like were ahead of me for a lot of that, so that's really good too.
That's the
You-
Mr. Cab inner race consistency talking, because really it was all the way up until the mid bosses in Strike and Sheep, which is kind of what I expected once I saw it was ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I kept looking over and being like, oh, you're like still like a couple screens ahead at all times. So that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it was just like a lot of those little things, those little optimizations you had. Again, particularly in the second half of the race, where you were just able to really execute them consistently and really just press the attack a bit, and it's really good, and some really good boss fights as well.
It's really a lot of small things that add up. Plus, I had some really good patterns, so I can't.
Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah. Any other thoughts, impressions you had on your play? Anything you noticed during the run, Slurpee?
My hands were really cold for the first few stages. I kept messing up things. And
So you're saying you had to warm up?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still actually kind of cold.
Yeah.
I don't know why though. And Wily too, I was super nervous. Because it's so easy to get crushed by the crushers in that stage, and just there's so much that can go wrong there.
Yeah, those Pistons have decided a couple of races in this tournament, so you don't want to be a victim of that.
No, I think I was a victim of that my first race, so,
Yeah.
Anything can happen in these races. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What a game.
Fun of it, right? Yeah, so congrats on your win, Slurpee.
Thank you.
Good luck in your next match. I'm just trying to see who you are playing next.
Great John.
Great John, yeah.
Great.
Great John. Great John, had that upset win over Palpy Blade last week. It was a very good race. So,
I'll have to go back and look at it because I think I missed it.
it was a good one. It's like, Great John played very consistent, very solid throughout, didn't really make any serious mistakes, and, unfortunately his opponent had a couple, and Great John was able to hold off a late charge to win. So, see how that goes for you, between you two in your next match.
It's probably going to be a really good race.
I'm sure it will be, yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is a really good race too. It was surprisingly close.
This was fun.
Yeah. Next, Mr. Cab.
Thank you for the race.
Absolutely, anytime.
Yeah,
and thank you guys for
those of you who want more Mega Man 10 action. We got 2 races on the schedule here on Speed Gaming, channels TBD, but tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have BTFM versus Scarf. And Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Retro Game Commander versus Charlie Boy on the schedule. So a couple of good Mega Man 10 races up ahead. And if you enjoyed today's race, you enjoyed our runners, and you haven't already, do give them a follow. MrCab55 and Slurpeeninja, and you can give me Troy007 a follow if you're so inclined. But again, always start with our runners, since they're the ones putting on the show here today. And once again, GG's to both of our runners, Mr. Cab and Slurpeeninja, and good luck, Ninja, in your next race.
Thank you.
All right, so I think that'll do it for us today. Thanks all again for watching. Not really sure what's up on the schedule next for Speed Gaming, but always a race happening here on the Speed Gaming channel. So let's have a quick peek on what's happening here on Speed Gaming 1. So we got at 11 Eastern on SG2, we've got the Mario Odyssey Bingo race happening, and at noon Eastern, we have Super Metroid multi-world race happening. Looks like so. Lots of action happening here. So so have a good one all, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow for more Mega Man 10 action. Good one.